Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and this is going to be a prologue. I had a video that seemed to be pretty popular before on why would customers send me these reels to be serviced, and I got some feedback that said we'd love to see how these perform once you finish with them. I'd like to see the end result. So I worked on the first set, and we'll update the others when I complete those. But the first set was BJ. BJ's from Hawaii. He sent me in a Penn 259 live baitcaster, and this reel was missing a few side plate screws. It was heavily corroded, and it had a handle that was broken, and it had a handle that was wobbling. And as we got underneath it, we were easily able to find the screws to replace for the side plate. One of the pieces that needed to be replaced was the reel seat, and the reel seat had to be replaced because it had a broken screw that had sheared off, I guess, over time with that. And the cause for the poor performance, or the circular in the handle, was that the handle screw was not tight, and that allowed the handle to travel around, and it made this oval as opposed to having the two flat sides which hold the handle on. So the gear sleeve had to be replaced as well. In addition to that, there was new drag washers put into this reel, and now you can see this reel is ready to go fishing. It is in beautiful condition, even looks good. On the Penn Senator 4.0, this was one more that it was just a matter of having a heavy degree of tarnish. It had drags that were stuck together. This has an interesting drag system in that it can be serviced from the exterior. But we took the whole reel apart, we cleaned it up, we replaced the drags, we freshened the grease, we cleaned the reel, and we replaced the handle. The handle that was on this reel was a replacement at some point along its history, but it was the smaller handle that was intended for the Penn Beachmaster series, and the 4.0 Senator really should have the one from the Long Beach series. It also had a missing screw or two, but other than that, this reel is ready to go fishing as well. So we're 2 for 2. We're going to move on. We're going to do the 209. I think you'll be surprised at that one. That one was sent in because it's by Wayne down in Florida. It was a complete corroded 209. I think we're going to make that go, and we'll give you an update on that one shortly. So this is a continuation. This was the 209 that was sent in. As you might recall, this was totally encrusted with green, dirt, grime, didn't turn, didn't work. Had a hole in the side here which was filled with a piece of cork where the spare pole assembly had chipped out. And as I mentioned on the preview video, there wasn't much we were going to be able to do with this. We were going to get it as clean as we could, and we would get it mechanically good. But you can't restore the chrome, but you can clean it up. So what did I use to get all that green junk, corrosion, and everything else? I used the dollar store brand of, I guess it's a toilet bowl and bathroom cleaner. It's called Lime Away. It says it destroys lime, calcium, and rust caused by hard water buildup. Well, I guess salt water might be hard water buildup. I didn't quite see what was in here. I'm sure it's got hydrochloric acid or something in this thing. I probably should have done that before I got here. Can't see it quickly, but I'm going to assume that there's something of that in there. I used a 50-50 solution. I took all the metal pieces and bright work off. I left the side plates and the main bridge and gears out of it, and that soaked for probably about 2 hours. It pulled off almost all of that, and then I completed it with a steel wool and a chrome polish to smooth down any rough spots that were involved in that. And I think, from an appearance standpoint, it's certainly a whole lot better than it was. I took a standard screw. Unfortunately, it's not stainless, but I wish it was. But a standard screw, a little washer, and a flat box nut inside there, and that was able to get the hole plugged. And then the rest of it was just a matter of cleaning, assembling, and put it back together again. So everybody's curious, I'm sure, how does it work? Well, it works beautifully. Single turn of the hand, we've got everything working the way it should be working. And if you can do this with your reel, you know you pretty much got it right. Go on a free spool with that reel, and that spool turns nicely. There's no grinding or anything of that sort, and it's ready to go fishing again. So this reel has a second chance. And I don't like to do the chrome strip too much. It brings you down to bare metal. The bare metal is subject to oxidation and everything else. So if you're going to do that on your reel, keep it hosed down and give it a good dose of a protective spray like WD-40 at the end of your trip. Just make sure it's washed off of any of the harmful salts and the like before you store that away. But that's the update on this one. We still have a couple of Penn reels to come, but I hope you're enjoying how these came out and what the solution was to make that happen. So I just wanted to finish the outcomes video here, and this is the last set of them. They came in from Tim up in New Hampshire. You remember they were heavily corroded, poor performers that just weren't working right. And when I got underneath each one of them, they all had their individual issues. But in the end, 2 of the 3 have been fixed, and the third one certainly will be fixed just as soon as I get a replacement part. So let's start with this one. This is the Penn 350. Remember, it came in all green. The biggest issue that this one had was that the sole, the reel foot, was bent. Apparently it had taken quite a shot. I kind of noticed when I was looking at the trim rings that there's some evidence of some banging going on. There's also a corresponding chip on the other side. So my guess is that somewhere along the line in the performance of this reel, it really took quite a whack, and that whack bent the sole plate, reel seat, and caused this to go out of square. So what I had to do was replace the reel seat on this one, clean up all of the greening that went on in this reel, and there was quite a bit of it. I just simply used steel wool and a chrome polish after an initial application of Flitz metal cleaner. You're never going to restore that, but you can get it to the point where it is looking as best as it can look. So how did we do? Well, we got a nice smooth turning reel here. That click, click, click you hear is the torsion bar advancing. That's the level wind feature on this reel. And this one's ready to go fishing again. Then we had a heavily corroded stuck Jigmaster, and this one was purely a story of just probably being left on a boat or being used and then not washed off or whatever. But the issue with this one was all the greening and corrosion on the reel and lack of lubrication. When you took this reel apart, it was very easy to see that the reel hadn't had any oil in it in a long time, and in fact the spool was sticking to the pinion gear because the grease had dried it in place. So how did we do? Well, after cleaning and lubing, you can see that spool is just spinning as nicely as it can possibly spin. Same to be said about that reel. That reel is ready to go fishing. It may not look as pretty as it could because the trim ring damaged with the greening, but other than that, this reel turned out fine. And 2 examples of why customers send a reel in and being able to repair them. So finally, the third one, it hasn't been repaired yet, but it will be. And I don't know if it's possible to see on this, but there's a huge crack in the side plate here. And that's why this reel doesn't turn. All of the pieces have been chipped inside. The gear is out of alignment. There's nothing holding this reel, and therefore, even though it'll spin like this, it won't drive the reel independent of that. You can see there was some damage here. Something happened with this reel taking probably a direct shot. You can see how bent that handle is. Something got in there, banged it to the point where that side case became chipped. No problem. We were able to locate a replacement side plate. I actually found it on eBay. What happens is a lot of folks will have reels like this. The reel will fail. It'll go beyond repair due to some kind of part that's not available. They'll break out the remaining parts, put them up online for sale, and somebody put up a side plate for the reel, probably costing about $13 with shipping. That's well worth the investment to get this one back and running again. So this is the last one in the series that was on why do customers send me these reels for repair, and can they be fixed? Well, this one is a good example. This one wound up having a broken side plate on it. I just did a video on how to replace all the components and transfer the pieces from one side plate to the other, and we were very fortunate that we were able to find a replacement side plate for this Penn 67 reel. What was the results? It's ready to go fishing again. So there you go. So it's not a matter of what the reel looks like. It's not even a matter of whether you should invest the time. There's a whole different bunch of reasons why customers will send the reels to me regarding sometimes sentimental, sometimes they just like the reel and just want to keep it fishing again, and sometimes they've just found one and are kind of interested in a low or an inexpensive entry point to see if they're going to enjoy fishing with that reel before they upgrade them. So in this case, Tim sent me that Jigmaster 500 that was heavily corroded. We made that one work. He sent me the 67 and that one worked as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this little exercise. I did want to come back and share the results with you. And I ask you to please stay safe, stay well, and stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle.